Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down. Bitch, you ain't no Barbie. I see you work at Arby's. Never to supersize it. Hurry up, I'm starving. Gnarly, radical. On the block, I'm magical. See me at your college campus, baggy full of Adderalls. Call me if you need a fix. Call me if you need a boost. See them other chicken heads, they don't ever leave the coop. I'm in the coop cruising. I got the stolen plates, serving all the fiends over there by the Golden Gate. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. The basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. The basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss a ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down.
Do you agree that there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, deadbeat dadism, white supremacism, and all the other isms? Destiny, that's a woman's name. You were raised by your daddy and mama. That makes you half man and half woman. You are a beta. You're not a real man, beta. I just have one question for ya, beta. There's just one thing I want to know. Destiny, do you love all people? Do you really love the blacks? Destiny, do you love black people? Why can't you just answer the question? Destiny, do you love all people?
Systems, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderous scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video She's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur.
Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go.
We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up, N word, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top if I wanna ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive. And continue along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.
I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. My children aren't going hungry. I'll do it. I'll drink your blood. And I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up? I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop his ass up, size it up. I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop, 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 chop. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, "Oh, I killed a cow out back, baby." You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. And that's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna get my hands around your throat.
What rolls downstairs, a motor in pairs, rolls over your neighbor's dog? What's great for a snack and fits on your back? It's long, long, long. It's long, long. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's long, long. It's better than that, it's good. Everyone wants a long. You're gonna love it long. Come on and get your long. Everyone needs a long.
Log from Blammo. Yeah, it's another B-Word broadcast. Let's go. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going, everybody? How you doing? Yo, it is Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. I hope you took the day off, cause I sure as hell did. How's it going, everybody? It is September. Yo, time going so fast. And it is a cloudy day here in Montreal, Quebec. I'm Be Weird. How y'all doing, everybody? I'm super excited for today's stream. The news do be popping off once again. All sorts of crazy stuff happening in the world. We're gonna take a look at it, go see what's happening. Just off the top, just the baseline. We got like 3 major stories, plus all the clutter and the flotsam and jetsam. So yeah, we're gonna look into this MAGA judge who is apparently bought Trump time with a special master review, and it's all sort of odd, and legal scholars are like, wait, what? And yeah, we're gonna go see his rally in Pennsylvania. Apparently it was super unhinged. And then we've got some Canadian news. Canada's popping off. We've got apparently a mass murderer going around, unaliving people left, right, and center, and also live testimony. Well, we won't be able to see it, but there will be testimony for the shooting a while ago in Nova Scotia. Apparently the RCMP knew the guy. So all sorts of interesting stuff happening. I'm here for it. I hope you're here for it. I hope you're as caffeinated as I am. You had a good sleep. We got some super chill mixed track from the 90s as our background music live in Detroit from Theo Parrish. I've been absolutely digging this so much. Oh no, I lost my water. But yeah, how's it going? I got my nails done. I had a really lovely throw poetry slam. Absolutely crushed it. We had a bilingual soiree. It was in English and in French. Oh geez, I should probably blast off. Gotta blast off, everybody. Let the world know that I'm actually live. It's always the worst feeling when you're like 30 minutes, an hour into a stream, and you're like, wait, did I even tweet or anything? Am I just randomly going live? I mean, I'm on schedule, sort of, kind of. I think I gotta change it away from like Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, and just most days I'll probably just take random days off here and there. Just stuff crops up. But yeah, how you doing? I hope you're liking the music. I'm really excited for the Trump rally. It just the arc of Biden being like, you guys are kind of inching towards fascism, and then the immediate reaction from Trump is like, no, the president's a fascist. It's awesome. It's great. I love it. It's really wholesome memes for the kids, you know. So yeah, I'm excited. Oh, what else do we got here today? There's special master? Yeah, the special master. That's kind of like the thing in Pennsylvania. The Trump rally. Okay, yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. We got some stuff from Uvalde, which should be interesting. And I don't think the RCMP is gonna be going viral today, but we'll see how that plays. All right. So yeah, I wanted to tell you about the Baller Poetry Slam. Had such a good night. What was it? Just last Saturday? Yeah, we were at the basement, and it was awesome. It was fire. We had a full show, a bunch of poets, ended on time. Just all around, lots of fun. I was like, yeah, I guess I was just like on my A game. I was doing pretty good. I had to manage like the sound and host at the same time, so my head was like a whirlwind. It was quite the night. The feature killed it. He was really good. Sven's Telemac, and yeah, it was just all around a really great night. It was good to see. And the other night, I think it was just last night. Oh man, I can't even remember. It must have been Sunday night. I was on a stream with Jason Society and a bunch of other cool people. Tofu, Ghost, Jay Marion, Scribbles Hearts, a bunch of lovely folk. And yeah, we just kind of like, it was a stoner cast, so we were just smoking weed and shooting the shit, and it was it was based as hell. It was really cool people. And yeah, that's what I want out of Twitch, is just like finding these really nice people to spend time and, you know, meme and laugh and whatever. And Keffels also had a big stream that I missed the other day, where she, you know, basically won against Kiwi Farm. So that's huge news. We might circle around, check that out. One of the panelists, what was it? Catboy Collector, is a mod on Keffel's stream. So, yeah, that was another based Twitch streamer. And, oh, geez, yeah, Jay Marion, Mari followed me. And Mari had one of the coolest setups. I want to go, like, shout out, let's see if this works. Shout out Jay Marion, because, their setup was incredible. Absolutely based. And there you go. No, Mari's a little weirder. So, good shit. Let's get into the stream. Let's pop into it. See what's going on in the world. I got a couple clips and a couple news stories lined up. And I think, let's just take a look here. I think we'll probably just do the main story right up front. Yeah, and then we'll get to the Trump rally. I don't know how long it is. It's long, man. Trump gives it. They're like concerts, man. It is literally an hour long. Holy, oh, wow, it is really, it is. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours long. Hail Geodis. Oh no. Bro. Okay, this should be a romp. Absolute romp. Okay, so let's get to the main story, and then we'll probably spend most of the stream checking out the Trump rally. I don't know how he keeps it up. Just gonna move the music around a bit. Oh yeah, and it's September. I think I'm gonna try to hit my goal of 20 subs by the end of September. That's the goal. So I should just make a quick change on that. Doing all my like stream things, all the stuff I should have did at some normal time. Yeah, that looks good. Good stuff. All right, let's go. Let's get to our first story of the day. Judge grants Trump's request for a special master to review materials seized from Mar-a-Lago. This is so odd. This is so weird. I can't even. can't even deal with just how unusual this is. It blows my mind. All right, let's see what the clip is.
The judge did appear to push back on one Trump argument.
Just gonna get some water.
Saying, quote, there has not been a compelling showing of callous disregard for plaintiffs' constitutional rights. Paige, is it significant that that's now on the record from this judge?
I think so. And again, Anna, I think that points to the fact that this is not as significant as some people are saying. The judge is not saying the Justice Department was wrong, not saying that they took stuff they should not have took, and certainly not saying that this investigation is political or not properly founded in the law. What the judge is saying is, look, I understand you say you've had your own team look at this, but let's just have someone independent, someone from the outside.
But the legal reasoning used was wild. I saw a couple like clipped quotes, and it was fantastic. It was like overturning 100 years of constitutional law, just like, you know, foot in mouth, you know, legal theory. It was incredibly bad. Just like you know, like those sentences that contradict themselves, and you just read them over and over, thinking like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. I think one point was like the judge reasoned that the Supreme Court hasn't prohibited ex-presidents from asserting executive privilege over current presidents. So who knows? Just like making up stuff whole cloth. Wild. I can't wait to dig into it. There seemed to be some pretty funny stuff.
Look over their shoulder. Perhaps that takes some of the politics out of it, but it's not a rejection of the government's investigation, not at all.
And Kara, I know you have been poring over this 24-page ruling that just came down. There are also more details in this about what was seized.
That's right. I mean, one of the things the judge is appointing the special master for is not only for these issues of attorney-client or executive privilege, but also personal documents. And so what she informs us in this opinion is that among the documents that were seized were some of Trump's medical records, some records related to his taxes, and some records relating to his accounting, which is of interest because there are all these other investigations involving some of those same issues. The judge is saying that the special master will go through and root it out. And I mean, in her order, she's also saying that the reason she's doing this is also for the perception of fairness.
Right,
you know, she said that
right.
There
Gotta
were
be
some
fair.
concerns that the filter team had already provided one or two documents to the investigative team.
You know, Trump's the most maligned politician ever since the history of writing and civilization. So we got to make sure we're fair. We're fair to him.
So she wants to put this in place as like another blocker.
And so even though, Paige, the DOJ and Trump's attorneys were on opposite sides of this issue, the judge is saying in this ruling that now they need to agree on and provide a list of possible special master candidates and a proposal for communication abilities, schedule for review, and compensation. How unusual is that?
Well, it's not unusual at all, but it may be very difficult to do here. I mean, it doesn't look...
So if you're ever like wondering just how left-wing or right-wing CNN is, just think of how they're presenting this. And the next story I have is from a left-wing source, Common Dreams. And it's citing legal scholars who are like, this is insane. This is a clear-cut, impeachable offense. So yeah, just like listen to the contrast between these two. CNN just like, oh yeah, this is totally normal. You know, you got to have a veneer of, objective review from special masters. Everybody loves special masters. And then this article comes out. This judge is now an active participant in Trump's crime, said one critic. Like, that's how far the needle is for some legal observers. Listen to this. Political observers on Monday said U.S. District Court Judge Aileen Cannon, quote, engaged herself in obstruction of justice. One of the actual crimes that is currently, like, that Trump is, you know, being maybe investigated for, I should say. He hasn't been indicted yet. So she herself may be getting wrapped up in the plot by ruling that the U.S. Department of Justice must halt its review of materials seized at former Trump's Florida State Mar-a-Lago. Cannon, who was appointed by the former Republican president and confirmed after he lost the 2020 election, during which he was spreading the big lie that he never lost. She ruled that Trump, quote, faces an unquantifiable potential harm by way of improper disclosure of sensitive information to the public if the review of the materials, which included documents marked confidential and top secret, continues. Just try to digest that. She's like, don't worry about the confidential and top secret materials. Trump might be harmed unfathomably by, you know, this news coming out that he had top secret documents and spy shit and empty folders of spy shit, you know. Political scientist Norman Ornstein noted that lawyers for Trump handpicked Cannon to oversee the case. Cannon, quote, has violated her oath and is unfit for the bench, he tweeted, adding that her ruling is, quote, a clear-cut impeachable offense. Slate journalist Mark Joseph Stern said he had been assured that, quote, no judge would take Trump's absurd filing seriously after the former president sued the DOJ over the FBI raid, which was sparked by the department's finding that Trump had taken classified documents from the White House when his term ended in 2021. The problem, of course, is that Cannon is not a real judge, but a Trump judge, and one of the most corrupt of the bunch, said Stern. Shaheesh. Shots fired. Cannon writes that executive privilege. Yo, good morning, Nunu. How you doing? Get through work this morning. Loving the nails. Thanks. A birdie told me someone may be having a birthday today. It is. Yeah. That's on the hush hush. I'm trying not to tell the internet when exactly my birthday is. It's in this week. And so I think I was going to do a it's like also my Twitch anniversary, and it's September. So I was thinking this weekend I'll do like a subathon, which involves, well, one, I have this lovely book I've been dying to read, The Rainbow Goblins. Oh, this music's so good. Oh, this music's way worse. I keep hoping there's actually a clip in these, and it's always like these, like, summary videos. So I had another one that should have... Yeah, here we go. We got Neil Katyal, I hate to say it, from MSNBC, but also from the Daily Beast. Trump went judge shopping, and it paid off in the Mar-a-Lago case. Trump got the judge he wanted in the Mar-a-Lago case, one he appointed. And she just gave him the first decision he wanted. Like, exactly. When former President Trump summoned up years of bubbling resentment and sued Hillary Clinton and everyone else involved in Russiagate earlier this year, he naturally filed his lawsuit in South Florida, home to his Oceanside estate. And yet, when his attorneys formally filed the paperwork, they selected a tiny courthouse in the sprawling federal court district's furthest northeast corner, a satellite location that's 70 miles from Mar-a-Lago. They ignored the West Palm Beach federal courthouse that's a 12-minute drive away. Trump's legal team, it seemed, was specifically seeking out a particular federal judge, one he appointed as president. It's nice to hear some journalists, like, leaning in to certain facts. Like, this is massive. Normally, judges should recuse themselves in order to avoid the appearance of impropriety. Not even impropriety, the appearance of it. The tactic failed, and Trump instead got a Clinton-era judge whom he promptly tried to disqualify for alleged bias. U.S. District Judge Donald M. Middlebrooks called them out in a snarky footnote. Quote, I note that plaintiff filed this lawsuit in Fort Pierce division of this district where only one federal judge sits, Judge Aileen Cannon, who plaintiff appointed in 2020. Despite the odds, this case landed with me instead. And when plaintiff is a litigant before a judge that he himself appointed, he does not tend to advance these same sorts of bias concerns, Middlebrooks wrote in April. So that's another judge calling him out for this tactic. Interesting. Months later, Trump is once again suing in the Southern District of Florida, this time seeking to hamper the FBI investigation into the way he kept hundreds of classified records at Mar-a-Lago, except this time he got Cannon, and the strategy is paying off. On Monday afternoon, Cannon single-handedly hit the brakes on the most politically sensitive and consequential FBI investigation ever undertaken. Convinced by Team Trump's legal arguments that the routine Justice Department methods for carefully handling seized documents aren't good enough when investigating this particular former president, she ordered that a special master be tasked with playing referee to dictate what happens with classified documents that are evidence of a crime. Quote, the investigation and treatment of a former president is of unique interest to the general public, and the country is best served by an orderly process that promotes the interest and perception of fairness, she wrote in her order as she failed to recuse herself. Oh, I'm dead. I think someone pointed out that the special master would have to be, like, read in. They would have to get top secret level status in order to even review the documents, therefore confirming that it's classified material that Trump clearly had in his house. Like, oh man. Or in Mar-a-Lago, I should say. As they did last month at Mar-a-Lago, the feds typically rely on a so-called filter team to separate constitutionally protected communications between a suspect and their lawyer from evidence that goes to the actual investigators working on the criminal case. But Cannon ordered the appointment of a special master from a list of candidates who are amenable to both the DOJ and Trump to further oversee the handling of those documents. The fact that Trump may have a say is a notable victory, rarely granted to someone accused of crimes as serious as violations of the Espionage Act. Like, remember that, I'm gonna forget her name. Chelsea Manning served like 5 years in prison for violating the Espionage Act, and left, like, the left wing was in an uproar over it because she leaked information that was, I think it was like the Reuters, it was the journalist who got shot down in like Afghanistan or Iraq or something like that. He got unalived from a helicopter. Cannon held back on deciding whether the FBI should return Trump's personal items, like accounting documents, medical records, and tax-related correspondence, even though the DOJ has indicated that their placement next to some of the nation's most highly classified secrets officially makes them evidence of Trump's criminal recklessness that could be shown at a future trial. Yeah, seems like a pretty good argument. I don't know. Her ruling was widely criticized by former prosecutors and legal scholars on Monday over the way it awkwardly lent credence to the idea that an ex-president could somehow assert executive privilege over government documents, even if federal law enforcement agencies operating with the tacit approval of a current president are acting in their capacity as the current executive branch. That's right, because the FBI can only do what they're doing because they're empowered by the Department of Justice, which is part of the executive branch, right? Like all the legal authority comes from the DOJ. The FBI doesn't exist without the DOJ saying so. And so the judge is like, yeah, but what if Trump, the citizen, does have more power than the current president, you know? Quote, this special master opinion is so bad, it's hard to know where to begin. Her analysis of standing is terrible. Trump wouldn't own these docs anyway, so why does he get a master over them? Tweeted Neil Katyal, a national security law professor who was previously the nation's top lawyer as the federal government solicitor general. We're gonna listen to him later on MSNBC. He's kind of like he's got lots of bad takes. Don't take him too seriously. Katyal also criticized the way Cannon didn't do what was largely considered the right move, sending Trump's lawsuit back to U.S. Magistrate Judge Bruce E. Reinhardt, who approved the search warrant of Mar-a-Lago and already oversaw key elements of this matter. Quote, she let Trump forum shop for a judge instead of letting the magistrate judge evaluate these claims. The appearances here are tragic, Katyal wrote. Cannon's order was chock full of innuendo, including odd swipes at the Biden administration. You love to see it, everybody. And jabs at investigative journalists for their role in uncovering what exactly Trump did with these classified records at Mar-a-Lago. Quote, the court takes into account the undeniably unprecedented nature of the search of a former president's residence, she wrote, citing a potential lack of, quote, customary cooperation between former and incumbent administrations regarding the ownership and exchange of documents, and stressing that the interest in ensuring the integrity of an orderly process amid swirling allegations of bias in media leaks. It's the bias, everybody, in the lamestream press. That's the real problem. She went even further, noting the importance of having an independent referee oversee the handling of seized materials to ensure that Trump wouldn't suffer, quote, irreparable injury from exposure to either the investigative team or the media. This is awesome. It's like Trump wrote it himself. Like, I'm fascinated by this. All right, let's listen to Neil Katyal and this professor. This professor is super based. I can't remember what her name is. I've listened to her a few times. Is this on mute? Yeah, it's on mute. All right, let me kill the music.
I mean, the minute he said that, I immediately conjured up the image of a Manhattan mini storage unit where you just like keep your
storage. Your thoughts?
Storage. Okay, cool.
I mean, the minute he said that, I immediately conjured up the image of a Manhattan mini storage unit where you just like keep your leftover winter clothing and turn it over every summer and switch out your clothes. But this is more, obviously, than just some storage issue. And it isn't even a question of storage. Like the real question is, why does he have this top secret classified material in what is essentially a basement of a country club in Palm Beach, Florida?
It's awesome. I've been asking this question forever now. Like, just why? For what reason? What purpose? Why did they find empty folders? Like, there's no way this looks good, especially after like the Hillary butter emails. Like, we've had to listen to that for like 10 years.
Boggles the mind that this would actually be the case. So to slough it off as simply a storage issue, I think really underscores the way in which some members of the Republican Party want to just downplay this, when in fact it's a major issue of national security that really demands considerable attention and accountability.
I want to bring in Neil here with a multi-part question, and we'll be able to test, Neil, whether you are on your A game, like when you were in the Supreme Court, where I know they do 3- and 4-part questions at your peril, or if at any point in the question you have to say, hey, I've got a little bit of vaccine brain, I need to pause, you know, that's your right here, okay? So it's a comfortable and understandable bench for you. But the multi-part question is, 1, if you have any thoughts on storage, 2, your interpretation of the special master ruling, and 3, does a procedural win like this matter when it's this late in the review?
Okay,
yeah, like they've had it for months.
Storage, I think that it's a red herring. The question is not where the documents are stored, it's that the documents were stolen. And the analogy, to use Professor Murray's point, is if in that...
But wait, the thief stored it in his safe. That's fine. I mean, just, you know, just because he stole it doesn't mean it's wrong.
At New York, rented locker, there was a bunch of stolen equipment, and it was discovered. I don't think your defense is, this is just about, where I stored it in this storage locker versus that. It's that you stole the stuff in the first place. And we're now weeks into this search, and Donald Trump has never once provided a single explanation of what in the world he's doing with those documents. Now, with respect to the special master decision today, Ari, I've read some terrible rulings in my life, but this one's pretty much the worst one I've read in a long time. I honestly think that any of my first-year law students would have written a better opinion. I mean, even Bill Barr called this request by Donald Trump for a special master a crock of the S word.
Nice.
And there's so much wrong with it. I mean, just to begin, the judge says that these documents are potentially protected by executive privilege, and that President Biden hasn't weighed in on that question. But the Justice Department actually filed a document from the archivist saying the president delegated to her and the Justice Department the question, is this stuff subject to executive privilege? She says no. She indeed says it's not even a closed question. And yet the judge just blows that off entirely. And then the judge...
I love watching nerds wrinkle their brows, just really getting worked up into a tither.
Joins the entire investigation. I don't even understand how an investigation could quite be enjoined. There's serious constitutional problems and practical ones because the government's already looked at these documents, but she somehow thinks that she can enjoin the entire investigation from looking at these documents until the special master reviews that.
Awesome.
We don't know how long that's going to take.
Stop the investigation.
There's practical problems with it, and then there are very theoretical.
The optics of a judge being like, I'm not going to send this. The person being investigated asked me to take a look at this. And, I'm not going to give it to the judge who started the investigation. I'm going to just stop the investigation. That seems like the most appropriate decision.
Practical problems with it. I'm unaware of any circumstance in which a federal judge has done anything like this. She says, well, it's because Donald Trump's reputation is being undermined. That is what every criminal defendant says. Every criminal defendant would love a special master. Every criminal defendant says they're being unfairly targeted. Every criminal defendant says their reputation will be sullied. That can't possibly be the law. So in the end, I think that there's
Being
so
a
much
criminal
breadth
is
to this ruling that
bad for my reputation.
I think the Justice Department has to appeal or at least seek reconsideration and clarification of what in the world she was thinking and what she meant. But in the absence of that, I think this is a real mistake.
Awesome.
All interesting. Do you remember part 3?
Part 3 was the practical consequences. And so I think that the Justice Department has two possibilities here. One, they can try and live with the special master. And I guess names will be submitted in a few days. And the judge did say in the last page of her order that this is just a, quote, brief pause. If it's truly a brief pause for a special master, that's one thing. The problem is that she hasn't actually told the special master what the task is. She says review it for whether these documents are protected by executive privilege.
It's a quickie review.
But the Supreme Court has said it's really the incumbent president who decides that. The incumbent president has said,
Biden.
Hey, none of this stuff is protected by executive privilege. So what in the world is a special master going to do? So I think there's so many practical problems that I think the department should go and seek clarification. And if the clarification comes back, the entire investigation is stopped. Then the department has to take an emergency appeal, an emergency stay to hold her decision in abeyance so that they can continue their investigation. And this matter may go up to the Supreme Court, but if it does, it should go up on a really quick timeline on the most expedited review. Trump's whole modus operandi is delay. And so I think the Department of Justice has to be very careful in trying to push this as fast as it can.
Understood. Professor, he seems on point to me.
He's certainly on point. I would just underscore that even if this is handled expeditiously, it will involve a delay. And
Months.
it's worth noting here
Yeah,
that
it's
the
gonna take
FBI has been stopped from doing anything, although she's allowed the other agencies like the Director of National Intelligence to continue. But the FBI is itself part of the national security community. And so this effectively prevents the FBI from funneling any of the material that it finds that is sensitive and does need to go to some higher authorities, to those higher authorities while this is going on. So it really does compromise national security while all of this is stopped. And I think it is a procedural win in that it basically halts this in its tracks. And even if it's handled expeditiously, that means there's at least 3 weeks, maybe a month in which this is all stalled.
Right, and I would only add to the really excellent legal analysis we've had here that while that is all true, and Neil identified parts of the ruling that are unusual, if you broaden out, the DOJ itself spent months trying to get to this answer. If we fast forward and in a month or two, it's back on track, that doesn't seem to me to be substantively all that different from the road they were on. There's a lot of reasons why you would not expect, as Neil outlined, more experienced appeals judges to go along with this uninformed, error-riddled argument that they can pause entire probes. So it may yet prove ephemeral, although the issues raised are significant. And Neil, as you know, there's some people in politics who say, I'm not a scientist, but, and then they say something about global warming. On behalf of the professor, I will say we're not doctors, but you get a clean bill of health mentally today. Thank you for sharing everything.
Okay, so here we've got and also I saw Nardwar. What is Nardwar doing on MSNBC?
In Seattle, age 4,
Yeah, Nardwar is a classic Canadian journalist, one of the best. So we might check that when we need a break from this bizarre story. I think it is hard this is Heidi Lee Feldman. I believe it's law professor exactly. I think it is hard for non-lawyers such as me, and maybe I won't make assumptions about chat. I think it's hard for non-lawyers to understand just how distressing Judge Cannon's rulings and arguments are. I'm going to set aside more technical aspects and try to explain accessibly. The key point to remember is that Donald Trump is under criminal investigation for breaking federal criminal laws. He's not been indicted yet and may never be. Right now, federal law enforcement is gathering evidence. As the subject of a criminal investigation, Trump has no more and no less constitutional protection than any other ordinary person in America. All have rights not to be subject to unreasonable searches of their residences and seizures of property from them, per the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. When the DOJ, i.e. prosecutors, and FBI, i.e. police, decided to search Mar-a-Lago, they had to get a search warrant. DOJ gave the magistrate judge evidence of their reasonable grounds for searching Mar-a-Lago for evidence of crimes committed by Trump. They had to name the possible crimes and explain specifically what they thought they would find that would show Trump committed them. The FBI did the search and got boxes of evidence relevant to the question of whether Trump had illegally taken possession of and otherwise mishandled government documents. Basically, the relevant evidence is, of course, the documents in the boxes. I'm just going to put the music back on. So the relevant evidence is, of course, the documents in the boxes. If the documents are government records, Trump retaining them is illegal. If the records are classified in various ways, Trump taking them and storing them improperly is illegal in other additional ways. To bring Trump to trial, DOJ would have to convince a grand jury the government has reasonable grounds to charge him with specific crimes. So, DOJ would want to show a grand jury documents that are government records, including classified records taken from Mar-a-Lago. Interesting. Does the grand jury have to be read in as well? Trump, like any subject of a criminal investigation, wants to discourage the prosecutor, DOJ, from going before a grand jury and to make it hard for the prosecutor to convince the grand jury to vote to charge him with crimes. This averts a criminal trial. Since seized documents are the possible evidence DOJ would present to grand jury, Trump wants to prevent the DOJ from even examining them to ascertain if they are government records. He wants to argue that DOJ cannot look at them, so he's arguing they are privileged. Privilege means shielded from examination and use by the DOJ as part of building a case against Trump. If documents seized from Mar-a-Lago are privileged, DOJ can't use them. If enough documents are privileged, DOJ might not feel confident going to a grand jury, or might not have strong evidence that Trump had illegally taken, kept, stored government records, including classified ones. Different types of privilege protect different documents. For example, if some of the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago memorialize legal advice Trump received from his personal attorneys, it is likely protected by attorney-client privilege. Attorney-client privilege exists to promote open communication between people and their lawyers, to ensure that people, especially those potentially likely to be charged with crimes, get good legal representation. Excuse me? Another possible way to shield documents from examination and use by DOJ in a criminal investigation is executive privilege. Unlike attorney-client privilege, this one doesn't cover too many people. Executive privilege pertains to the president, the head of the executive branch. It allows the president to withhold information from courts and Congress when releasing it would jeopardize the public interest. Executive privilege asserted in good faith makes sense. Sometimes government records held by the president contain information that should be private to the president, not available to other branches of government because revealing the info would hurt the country. But a president might not have the public interest in mind when she asserts executive privilege. She might want to keep records private because they contain embarrassing info or info that would show she committed crimes. While the president is in office, DOJ policy has been not to charge them with crime in any event because that would be distracting. It could be dangerous for the country. But having a criminal president, A-okay. But now Trump is out of office, and so, just like all of us, potentially chargeable. And that was basically what Mueller said in his report, that he could be indicted once he became a normal citizen. This makes asserting executive privilege especially attractive to him. If a former president can assert executive privilege, however, he has a tool almost no other ordinary American has to shield himself from grand jury review, indictment, and trial. Executive privilege could render him de facto above the law. Part of keeping presidents legally accountable, then, is not making it too easy for them to shield evidence of criminal wrongdoing from the DOJ. In today's decision, Judge Cannon permitted Trump to use assertion of executive privilege to at least delay the DOJ examination of documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. Cannon ruled that DOJ cannot look at the documents until a special master, an appointed judicial advisor, examines them and decides which, if any, are covered by executive privilege. There are all sorts of problems with this. First, how is this special magistrate supposed to decide what information is executively privileged? Obviously, you can't just rely on Trump's assertions. Cannon gives no clues. Law governing presidential records says former president claiming executive privilege over records from her term should work with current president to ascertain if public interest requires keeping the records from courts and Congress. Ultimately, the call is the current president's, i.e. Biden's. Seemingly, current president via National Archives has already decided that public interest does not require that Mar-a-Lago documents be kept under wraps. So why is Cannon letting a special magistrate second guess? Big question. Moreover, many legal experts in and out of government question whether a former president, can ever be the one to assert executive privilege on ground that only the current head of the executive branch can. Trump is asserting executive privilege when he is out of office, subject of a criminal investigation, and his premises searched under warrant upon showing of reasonable grounds to believe evidence of crimes were there. Not a compelling situation to recognize the privilege. Instead, Judge Cannon assumed Trump can assert the privilege and appointed a special master to decide which seized documents it covers, if any. She had many other options, including simply declining to decide the case. If DOJ pursued case to grand jury or trial, Trump could have raised executive privilege and exclusion of documents at those junctures. Instead, Cannon has given his questionable assertion bite at a very early stage in a criminal investigation. Whether Cannon's decision delays the DOJ review of documents for long is an open question. It isn't clear that the decision and its arguments will survive appeal if DOJ chooses to appeal, but these uncertainties don't affect the horror many lawyers have in reaction to the decision. We are horrified that a Trump-appointed judge repeatedly went out of her way to give Trump unprecedented and extraordinary protection from an ongoing criminal investigation. Sheesh. This is crazy. This is wild. Like, what is happening? The rule of law doesn't exist. Freedom, everybody. We're free from the rule of law. Okay, let's maybe dig into... That was a really good explanation. I enjoyed that. So let's just skip right on to the rally. We got a really good idea of the legal landscape. All right, I'm gonna draw down the music. It's just gotta load a little bit. It's just gotta load. USA, 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 USA. Awesome, awesome.
Well, thank you very much, and hello, Pennsylvania. Hello.
Pennsylvania today.
I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with the thousands of proud...
Okay, please load the good quality. Just do the thing.
Hardworking American patriots that I have gotten to know so well.
Oh, the quality's so bad.
2 months from now, the people of Pennsylvania are going to fire the radical left Democrats, and you are going to elect Doug Mastriano as your next governor. And you are going to send my friend Oz.
It's kind of spooky, actually. Like, you recognize Trump, even though it's just like a faceless, like, orb, morb. Maybe it's because there's a live stream. That might be why. Let me find a different,
Well, thank you very much, and hello, Pennsylvania. Hello. I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with the thousands of proud, hardworking American
was elected as the new prime minister. I'm pretty sure. And she's giving a speech now. Let's see if it's actually... We'll cut into that soon.
Patriots that I have gotten to know so well. 2 months from now, the people of Pennsylvania are going to fire the radical left Democrats, and you are going to elect Doug Mastriano as your next governor.
Look at the quality.
And you are going to send my friend Oz. He is a great guy. To the U.S. Senate, you're going to elect an amazing slate of true America First Republicans to Congress, and we are going to end the Nancy Pelosi political career, the Biden political career.
Let's see if this is a better...
We're going to end it. Our country's going to hell.
Awesome.
Our country is going to hell.
Oh, yeah.
This election...
Here we go. Yeah, and it's 2 hours long.
Well, thank you very much, and hello, Pennsylvania. Hello. I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with the thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots that I have gotten to know so well. 2 months from now, the people of Pennsylvania are going to fire the radical left Democrats, and you are going to elect Doug Mastriano as your next governor.
Poggers. Trump's back
and you
in full
are going
form.
to send my friend Oz.
That's Dr.
He is
Oz.
a great guy. To the U.S. Senate, you're going to elect an amazing slate of true America First Republicans to Congress, and we are going to end the Nancy Pelosi political career, the Biden political career. We're going to end it. Going to hell.
Whoa.
Our country is going to hell. This election is a referendum on skyrocketing inflation, rampant crime, soaring murders, crushing gas prices, millions and millions of illegal aliens pouring across our border, race and gender indoctrination, perverting our schools, and above all, this election is a referendum on the corruption and extremism of Joe Biden and the radical Democrat Party. If you want to stop this destruction of America, you must vote Republican. You got to get out and vote.
Not sure why the quality is so bad.
As you know, this week, Joe Biden came to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to give the most vicious, hateful, and divisive speech ever delivered by an American president, vilifying 75 million citizens plus another probably 75 to 150, if we want to be accurate about it, as threats to democracy and as enemies of the state. You're all enemies of the state. He's an enemy of the state. You want to know the truth? The enemy of the state is him and the group that control him, which is circling around him. Do this, do that, Joe. You're going to do this, Joe, right? I think Philadelphia was a great choice to make this speech of hatred and anger. His speech was hatred and anger. By the way, the next morning he forgot what he said. You saw that. They asked him about, oh, I didn't think I said that, did I? Oh, no. How'd you like the red lighting behind him like the devil?
Like the devil. Man, all the sides are red. Red. Republicans complaining about the color red will never not be funny.
Philadelphia was a great choice because the city is being devastated under Democrat rule. Devastated.
Devastated.
I hate to tell you, we love Pennsylvania. I went to school in Philadelphia. What's happening to Philadelphia? 14 people were shot last weekend in Philadelphia, 14. And the fake news will go out and check. Oh, that's a lot of fake news. Whoa. That's a lot of fake news.
Yeah, it's a totally normal thing to say, everybody. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
Super normal.
Well, they'll go out and check the facts. 4 people were killed last weekend. At one point last month, 7 people were shot in the span of just 71 minutes. Philadelphia. This year in Philadelphia has already seen more than 1,400 people shot, including numerous beautiful little children.
Oh, God.
Last year, the city set an all-time murder record with 560 homicides. And it's on track to shatter that record again in 2022. Numbers that nobody's ever seen other than in some other Democrat-run cities. Armed robberies in Philadelphia are up 62%. Doug, you have to take care of this. You have to take care of this. And Oz will send you the goods. Oz, send him the goods. You know what the goods are? Lots of police officers. That's what the goods are.
I love how both Biden and Trump are asking for more police. Fund the police, says Biden. Just awesome.
Just recently announced retail theft is up 59% from last year.
Bro.
There have been more than 750 carjackings this year. Anybody have a nice car? Because you're not going to have it long. More than triple the average for 2010 to 2019, and it's heading way up, heading up in other cities that are run by Democrats also.
Like the 1980s called.
Instead of trying to demonize half of the population, Biden and congressional Democrats should focus on stopping the killing and the bloodshed in Philadelphia and every other Democrat-run city in America.
Just wild.
Where record death and destruction is taking place every single day.
American carnage. You don't say.
Biden thinks making America great again is bad for our country. Do you believe it? That was in his speech. MAGA. MAGA, he says we got to stop MAGA. That's when I defined it, because I don't think he knows what it meant. It means make America great again. We have to stop it. Stop MAGA. Stop make America great again.
Stop make America great again.
Making America great again is a threat to our country. No, making America great again is great for our country. Great. There's only one party that's waging war on American democracy by censoring free speech, criminalizing dissent. You see that happening. Disarming law-abiding citizens, issuing lawless mandates and unconstitutional orders, imprisoning political protesters. That's what they're doing.
Political
Rigging
protesters.
elections, weaponizing the Justice Department and the FBI like never, ever before. And raiding and breaking into the homes of their political opponents. I wonder who that could be. Republicans in the MAGA movement are not the ones trying to undermine our democracy. We are the ones trying to save our democracy. Very simple.
Save it. Save the democracy.
Very simple. The danger to democracy comes from the radical left, not from the right. Not from the right.
I'm rubber, you're glue, what bounces off to me sticks to you.
We're going to stand up to this rising tyranny of sickness, lawlessness, and death, and we are going to take back our country. We're going to take it back.
Take it back. The Brits are all boiling water, getting their tea ready for their new prime minister. Liz Truss. I don't know much about her, but I've heard some bad things already. The era of Bojo is over.
There could be no more vivid example of the very real threats from American freedom than just a few weeks ago. You saw it when we witnessed one of the...
Oh, does that mean the other one's going? No, not yet. We are getting more audio soon. What's your problem?
Play. In American history. The shameful raid and break-in of my home, Mar-a-Lago, was a travesty of justice.
Ooh.
That made a mockery of America's laws, traditions, and principles before the entire world. The entire world was watching, and they're
Policeman
shocked.
bad.
They're shocked.
What about Hillary? Buttery
South
Mills.
American countries, numerous of them, their leaders said, could you imagine if that was ever done in our country, what the United States would be saying about us? The Biden administration invaded the home of their chief political opponent, who is absolutely destroying him and everyone else in the polls. I hate to say it.
So he's down to the polls.
The Republicans,
so
but we love the Republicans.
Oh, we love
On a phony pretext, getting permission from a highly political magistrate who they handpicked late in the evening, just days before the break-in.
It's awesome. It's like literally what he's done. He's literally handpicked a judge who's, you know, done a weird legal ruling.
And trampled upon my rights and civil liberties as if our country that we love so much were a third world nation. We're like a third world nation. They rifled through the First Lady's closet drawers and everything else. and even did a deep and ugly search of the room of my 16-year-old son, leaving everything they touched in far different condition than it was when they started. Can you believe it? The FBI and the Justice Department have become vicious monsters, controlled by radical left scoundrels, lawyers, and the media who tell them what to do, you people right there, and when to do it. They're trying to silence me, and more importantly, they are trying to silence you, but we will not be silenced.
This is like the most common mantra of conservatives. They have to do it when they're in front of a microphone. Yeah. They're trying to silence me.
Right?
USA. That's the country we're in.
We will never stop.
In case you forgot.
Speaking the truth, we have no choice because we're not going to have a country left. The evil and malice of this demented persecution of you and me should be obvious to all, and it is.
They're persecuting us.
Media
Oh, is she coming out now?
That are pretty far.
Okay, I think it's happening. All right, Liz Truss. First remarks. Let's boost the quality. Oh. What the hell is that? Is that like her aide going to get her? I don't know much about Liz Truss. Should I go figure that out? Do we care? I figure like we'll learn quite a bit just from her first remarks. She's speaking to the nation. What she says, like, should be pretty impactful. I hope she's not another Margaret Thatcher. God damn. She's gonna be another Margaret Thatcher, isn't she? Just like extra conservative. Okay, alright, okay, alright. I pulled the trigger too soon.
Our left have come out and said we can't believe this is happening in the USA. We are being assaulted by the same group at the FBI and DOJ that just a few years ago declared no reasonable prosecutor would charge crooked Hillary Clinton.
Crooked Hillary.
After she set up a secret illegal server
This is awesome.
to hide her family's pay-for-play schemes, crammed it full of classified information.
Even his own prosecutor, Bill Barr, said there's no there.
Allowed it to be plundered by foreign hackers, you know that happened, and then deleted, acid washed, 30,000 emails. Think of that, 30,000 emails. And what else did she do? Boom, with a hammer, smashed her phone systems to smithereens after receiving the highest level of subpoena from the U.S. Congress.
Wow. They are losing their minds. This is scary stuff. Yo, Max, how you doing? How's it going? It's just incredible to watch an ex-president under investigation get like special treatment from a judge, then go into a rally where people are just like shouting in ecstasy because they all have the same motto. Yeah, stream's doing good. School starts today. I had a lovely time on the Stoner Cast last Sunday night. Met a lot of cool people, cool streamers. And had a poetry slam that was fire last Saturday. And hopefully I'll be able to record streams. I should be getting a new MacBook Pro. Woo, baby! So once that's up, I should be able to just bring my camera, bring my laptop, and set up before the show. And yeah, live stream the poetry slam. I think that would be really sweet. And we're waiting for Liz Truss to give her first remarks while we listen to the Trump rally. Yeah, let's go. I'm gonna add that right now. I'm gonna add that emote.
Yet
right,
now these same
right now.
people, the exact same people, are sending the FBI storming through the home of their #1 political rival. It's a disgrace like possibly never before. Our country's never seen anything like it. They talk about documents not being properly stored, yet they go in and take documents, dump them on the floor, stage a photo shoot, and pretend that I had done it, like I had put them all over the floor. They took that back after a lot of prodding. Then they put out for public consumption a picture which is seen all over the world. This is what they do. It's called disinformation. These are very
Disinformation.
dishonest.
You guys heard
sick
about this
people.
thing? People lie to you.
Very dishonest people.
Let's go.
Americans
All right,
are sick of the lies, sick of the hoaxes and scams, and above all, sick of the hypocrisy. But our opponents have badly miscalculated. This egregious abuse of the law is going to produce a backlash, the likes of which nobody has.
I was gonna say it. I was just about to say it. The likes of which nobody's seen before. This bad villain plot shit. Oh man, so good.
Before our very eyes, our beloved country is being taken over by the very people who turn democracies into dictatorships and into ultimately ruination.
From the guy who is asserting executive privilege as the ex-president over and above the current president, and a judge was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. The Supreme Court didn't say you couldn't do it. We're in the part of the law where there's no law preventing dogs from playing basketball. Like that's we're in Airbud law at this point in time. It's awesome.
They think they can divide us, but they can't. Can't divide us.
Oh, sorry, Max. You gotta be.
The MAGA movement is the
I
greatest
think you gotta be
in the history
subscriber to get careful.
of our country.
I think my niece will actually make some custom emotes soon. So, actual cool emotes are behind.
And maybe.
But right now it's just a random assortment of random
maybe in the
emotes.
history of the
Just,
world.
yeah, these ones in particular.
In any event, we have no choice. We are trying to save our country because such bad things are happening to our beautiful, beloved America. We
Just gonna
will
make love to the flag again.
make America great again. I will never turn my back on you. And you will never turn your back on me because we love our nation. And we will save our nation from people who are trying to destroy it.
September.
It was
I think I'm
not
gonna do a subathon this weekend. Just kind of figuring out what like the main. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out what like the main, like thing is. Probably it's gonna be Top Chef or some Gordon Ramsay. I really enjoyed those arcs on Denim Stream, but I really want to read this book, The Rainbow Goblins. I haven't read it yet, and it's like this classic Italian children's story about why the rainbow doesn't touch the earth. A tale of treachery. So I'm really excited for that, and I think it'll be this weekend. It's my birthday this week as well, so it's like everything's happening all at once.
My home that was raided last month. It was the hopes and dreams of every citizen who I've been fighting for since the moment I came down the golden escalator. In 2015, wanting to represent the people, wanting to stop the massive corruption of our country, and determined to finally,
Yeah.
in this
Feels
world,
birthday, man.
put
Feels birthday.
America first. I want
Gonna
to
be
put
32.
America first, and we did. We did.
I'm not.
We
I'm
did.
going.
There's never been a period
I'm gonna go get my health card renewed. That's my plan.
of time.
I'm.
both
My mom bought me a
before
MacBook,
COVID or
so
the
it's my
China virus, as we say,
birthday,
and
Christmas
after
present.
COVID.
We
From
had to
that-
make up religions that we belong to in order for it to make sense.
That moment on, I became the enemy of the Washington swamp. For 6 years, the radical Democrat Party, the rhinos, the media, and the deep
Rad
state
Dems.
have tried relentlessly to stop me and you. First, they fabricated the Russia scam. So it
Russiagate.
was a total fabrication. Now they all
Remember
admit it.
Russiagate? Man, the first thing that.
Then we
Oh, it's
had
live at
impeachment
11.
hoax
Live
number
at 30
one,
minutes. Oh, okay.
Impeachment hoax number 2. And now these same exact people at Justice and the FBI, the same people, along with outside scum,
Outside
are at it
scum.
again with the horrific
So good.
raid of my home.
Just the use of the word
They
horrific
just go
there.
on and on.
It's just
and they
random
have to
negative
be
word.
stopped. We have to
Stop the
spend time
FBI.
on our country, not on defending ourselves against scams.
I have a good little poem as a little break. I love these really short poems. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose a single thread from the intricate brocade of this happiness. I want to remember everything, which is why I'm lying awake, sleepy but not sleepy enough to give it up. Just now, a moment from a year ago. The early morning light, the deft, sweet gesture of your hand reaching for me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trump. That was really good. That was an awesome poem.
Think of it about Russia and the Mueller. No collusion.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? Came in, no collusion.
No
That was
collusion.
your decision after 2.5 years, no collusion.
I just listened to this like it's a poetry slam. Like he is just breaking the 3-minute rule and just doing poetry, and people are like snapping along, they're like cheering at certain parts.
told them that after the first hour, and they could have said that because they had the laptop from hell, which had everything, so they knew immediately. But it went on. But think of this, you know, and I tell this story on occasion, very seldom, because it's too sad to tell. But I tell this story because it's very important. Russia was a hoax. It was developed by Hillary Clinton and a group of people, small group around a kitchen table, as a way of explaining why she lost an election that a lot of people thought she would win, because the Democrats have an advantage in elections because of a lot of things, aside from the fact they cheat like hell.
Yeah, him calling the election
So when they lost,
fake and the news fake and the FBI fake. This is all normal. How did these people
Hillary
do
Clinton
it?
and her people and guys like Adam Shifty Schiff,
Adam Shifty Shit. It's
Watermelon
so
Head.
bad.
Watermelon Head, he's a
Watermelon Head?
He's a
What are you,
watermelon.
9 years old? This guy's laughing his ass off. Oh
Watermelon Head.
my god, they're cracking up so hard.
but no dummy.
Bro.
But think of this.
How
Think
does
how
he
bad
do
they
it?
are. Think how evil they are. You're all fathers and your mothers and your children of great people, and all of the people are represented here. Think how bad they are. They make up a story that's false. It's now been admitted to be false. The FBI is the last one to tell us that.
He's telling them how he does it, and
But it's now admitted, even in the newspapers,
Oh,
even by
jeez.
the people back there, they will not fight it. They make up. Now think of this. But think of this.
is this the time to boo?
So they make up a story about Russia. Just so you know, I was tougher in Russia than any president by far. I'm the one that stopped Nord Stream 2, the pipeline. I'm
Nord
the
Stream
one that
2.
did the big sanctions.
The big
And
sanctions.
I guarantee you one thing, Putin was not going into Ukraine. I guarantee you that.
Wait, what?
I guarantee you. Nobody was tougher than me, but I also got along with them.
Oh,
That's a
once
good
Biden,
thing, you know, getting along with other
Putin invaded Ukraine because Biden became president.
countries is a good thing, not a bad thing. But think of it.
Biden cheated to win the election so that Russia could invade Ukraine.
So they make up a story, Russia,
Clearly.
Russia, Russia. It was made up so that when they lost, they could say, it was Russia. I'm saying, what the hell did Russia have to do with
The
it?
tanks aren't
It
real,
was
everybody.
Russia. Okay, so Adam Schiff knows it's a fake story. He made it up with other people. They know it's a fake, and I see Adam Schiff go solemnly to the microphones in the Capitol building.
Solidly.
And stand there
So solidly.
sad
So
and
sad.
say, Donald Trump Jr. will be going to prison because of what he did with Russia. Now think of it.
Awesome.
He knows the story's a scam. He knows the story's a fake. And he wants my son, who's a good kid, he wants my son to go to prison over something that they made up, that they know is a phony story, and has now been, as they say, fully debunked. In other words,
As they say.
it was a totally, and he's standing before microphones with many of those people standing there, and they can't get enough, saying that my son is going to prison. And I then call my son, I say, Don, are you
Like, yeah, that's something I think about a lot because part of the value of joining a collective or joining a cult or whatever is that you lose some of yourself, right? That you're giving up some of your personal identity to put on a label, to put on a hat, to join a sect. And yet this sect is so much just a cult of personality. And the personality is just so clearly narcissistic. So the values of the cult are just narcissism. So it's awesome to be in this cult because it gives you an excuse to be a narcissist, like you're giving up part of yourself to be part of a group that values like thinking you're the center of the universe. It's such a head fuck. The more I think about it, it's like this weird Ouroboros of like, I don't know, fake responsibility or something. I don't know. It's very bizarre.
okay? What's going on? What's going on?
Terminal Ameribrain.
You're a parent. Think of it. My son's going to prison.
Yeah, it's the internet. These people were not ready for the internet. They just were not ready for it.
On something that they made, which is
Eases the burden of having to make your own decisions. Yeah, it's never your fault. The only emotional or mental labor required from you is devotion. Don't have to think of anything else. Yeah, being a zealot is easy. And all these people, of course, will have done IQ tests that say they're like Mensa members.
a total hoax. These are bad people. They're trying to destroy our country, and we can't let it go on any longer because we have too much work to do. Whether through activist attorney generals, these state attorney generals, if I fly over a state, they send me before a grand jury. There's Trump, he's up there. Let's see, what can we do with a grand jury? I've been going through this for 6 years now. Local Democrat DAs, county prosecutors, congressional committees or federal agencies, the radical Democrats are engaging in a desperate attempt to keep me from returning to the White House where they know I will clean this mess up again.
Just like this weak applause. Man, the applause lines are wild.
They want to stop us from completing our mission to bring back American values, secure America's borders. Millions and millions of people are pouring into our country. Nobody has any idea where they're from. Last month, 129 countries were represented. They're emptying their prisons into the United States of America.
They're turning the prisons upside down and they're shaking them. And all the prisoners are coming out and they're falling all over America in different counties where you live. Doesn't matter where you live because they're shaking the prisons upside down over everywhere. They have really big hands.
They know we'll continue to fix America's trade deals, continue to lower taxes. Nobody gave tax decreases like Trump, bigger than the Reagan cuts. And lower regulations that created all of those jobs, defend and protect our police and our military. We have to protect our police. You know, our police want to protect us. They're stymied from doing it. We have to protect our police. They know we're going to reclaim our energy independence. We're going to save our Second Amendment, which is under siege.
They've laid siege, not
we
to the
build
Capitol,
our manufacturing base,
but to the
just
Second
like
Amendment.
I was doing. In other words, they know that we're going to make America great again. You
How do
know,
these people eat this up?
we had a different saying because after we did so well, we were all set. And we had a statement, remember? Keep America great.
Keep America
But
great.
after
CAG.
they destroyed it, I'd love to use it. But I must say, there's nothing like MAGA. Do you agree?
Nothing like MAGA. You shouldn't try to replace
don't
it.
know, Doug.
CAG is stupid.
I don't know, CAG.
Ugh.
CAG wasn't the same as MAGA.
Sounds like gag.
CAG.
Sounds like
Keep
gag.
America great. The problem I had, though, wasn't the fact that CAG can't compete with MAGA.
Jesus.
The real problem I had that we can't use the word keep America great because they've destroyed our country. So we
It's not
can't
great
keep
anymore.
because it's not great right now.
You gotta
Our
make it great again.
country is a laughing stock.
MAGA.
Our leaders are a laughing stock.
MAGA again.
You know, we just sent another $13 billion to Ukraine. That gets us close to $80 billion. Now,
80 bill.
well, it angers me more for a different reason. It would have never happened before. Putin knew he wouldn't have done it. He said, Vladimir, you're not going to do that, Vladimir. He knew that. He knew it. He knew it. But he did it as soon as the election was rigged and it was considered over. I don't know if it's ever going to end if you look at what's gone on. Because
What are
more
you
and more
saying?
facts are coming out. Like the
More and more
FBI
facts.
with Facebook the other day. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? FBI with Facebook. Wow.
But you know what? Our country,
You have to have like done the work of reading the news and through their specific filters that nobody's talking about, which is like Mark Zuckerberg going on Joe Rogan saying that, yeah, they do actually listen to the FBI. They do work with federal law enforcement.
it would have been so inappropriate to say keep
Surprise.
America great. Because who the hell wants to keep our country the way it is right now? I don't. But together we have easily beaten every single witch hunt in the past. Think of that. But the time and the money and the effort it takes. And now we will likewise do that in the future if they continue their craziness and if they don't stop. They don't stop. That's all they're good at is disinformation. They put out disinformation. You know, when I heard about Russia was right after I came down that beautiful golden escalator. First Lady, I said, you'll be a great First Lady. She has been a great First Lady.
Wow, it's just like this rambling,
Been a
incoherent
great
mess.
First Lady. They love our First Lady. But people would come up to me. This was right at the beginning. And right after the escalator ride, the people go, sir, do you know anything about Russia? No, young guys come up, beautiful staffers. There are a lot of them here right now and here, all over the place, that just came up to me. You won Pennsylvania by a lot, sir. That's right. You're right about that. Doug, I think at 9 o'clock in the evening, we were 950,000 votes up with 73% of the vote cast. All of a sudden,
Is he back to relitigating the 2020 election?
around 3:02 or something,
Oh, move on, guy.
the equipment closed down.
The
It all closed down, and then you had that massive spike. Remember the spike that went to heaven and came back? It should have gone to hell and come back. And all of a sudden we were tied, and then all of a sudden we lost by a whisper. A rigged
Lost by a
election.
whisper.
But the people would come up, some of them are here, sir, sir. It's such an honor to meet you, sir. Sir, could I ask you a question? Yeah, what is it? Do you know anything about Russia?
Russia.
Say no, not really. I know
Christ.
probably less than you know. But I have a lot of common sense, and I know how to defend our country. And I'll end up being friendly with them, and we'll do just fine. Then a month later, another one came up. Hello, Uncle Sam. Look at it. Stand up, Uncle Sam.
Uncle Samuel? What?
Great people. Great people. Then a month later, another young person came up, a little naive.
The young people.
And said,
The call of the common idiot. Yeah, Clay.
It was actually it was cute.
Morons.
He
You
said,
know.
"Oh, sir, it's such an honor." We talked for a couple of minutes. He said, "Sir, can I ask you one question? It's been bothering me." "Yeah, what is it?" "Do you know anything about Russia?"
Russia.
And then again and again.
good.
And after about 5 or 6 times, "Do you know anything about Russia?" I looked at my people, my top people that are a little older. I said, "What the hell is going on with Russia?" This is all I knew.
What's
what
happening?
was going on?
What is
It
this
was
country?
A scam. And we took 2.5 years to win. But all of that time and effort and money and the corruption and the people that were in charge of that scam are horrible. And they're the same people that we have now. They never leave. They never leave. And if we would have had an attorney general with courage instead of somebody that was afraid to be impeached. Sir, I don't want to be impeached. We
Twice
would have gotten
impeached?
to the bottom of it very quickly. And we've been waiting for Durham for a long time. Durham, please come in and give us
yeah.
your work, please. Durham, we got to get Durham
I forgot
going
about the
here.
Durham arc.
But this battle is not about me. This is a struggle for the very fate of our...
Okay, all right. Okay, let's take a little break from that. We got some updates from the mass stabbing that's been going on in Canada. We don't have mass shootings, but apparently we have mass stabbings. So, yeah, let's check out what's going on with that. Yeah. Saskatchewan stabbing updates. What we know so far about the ongoing RCMP manhunt, the suspects, and the victims. At least 10 people were killed, and 18 were injured. Wait, hold up. Wait, hold up. That's insane. It took place on the James Smith Cree Nation and in the nearby town of Weldon, Saskatoon, early Sunday morning. I think this is going to be like our largest mass murder in our history. What the with a knife? At least 10 people are dead and 15 more injured after a stabbing rampage that began on James Smith. Here's what we know. Holy cow. One suspect, Miles Sanderson, is at large. Another, Damian Sanderson, was confirmed dead. I mean, unalived. Excuse me. This is a really bad picture. Oh, I guess they're hiding her face, maybe? Saskatoon, Ruby Works. No, they named her. So, 42 holds a bouquet of flowers in a village. Attacked this weekend in a stabbing rampage. Ms. Works said she knew one of the victims, Wes Patterson, a 77-year-old widower. And yeah, they cut off her face for some reason. Probably to hide her identity. Yeah, this is dark. Saskatchewan RCMP continued to search on Tuesday for fugitive Miles Sanderson, a suspect in this past weekend's knife attacks, one of the deadliest mass killings in Canadian history, after the body of his brother Damien, also a suspect, was found at James Smith Cree Nation. It takes some dedication to stab another human and keep going, and this motherfucker did it multiple times in a spree. Yeah, like, that's the part I don't understand. Like, that's effort. I get tired cutting up a chicken breast. Like butterflying a chicken breast. I'm like, woo! I'm tired now. Parole documents outline the 20-year criminal history of Miles Sanderson, who had been sought by police since he stopped reporting to a parole officer this past spring. Mr. Sanderson is charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder, and RCMP say more charges are expected. Yikes. The 10 people unalived at James Smith and nearby Weldon include an elderly widower, a mother of two, and a crisis worker attending to a call when the suspects burst into a home. 18 more people have been injured. What a piece of shit. The manhunt so far. RCMP in the three prairie provinces are on alert as they pursue Miles Sanderson, one of two suspects in Sunday's knife attacks in rural Saskatchewan. RCMP say they believe he's in Regina and might be injured, in which case he might seek medical help. Mr. Sanderson was previously seen in Regina driving a black Nissan Rogue with a Saskatchewan license plate 119 MPI. The search is over for the second suspect, Mr. Sanderson's brother Damien Sanderson, whose body was found at the First Nation where the attacks occurred. The exact cause of his death is not yet known, RCMP Assistant Commissioner Blackmore said Monday, nor is it clear whether Miles Sanderson killed him or not, unalived him or not, How the attack unfolded, where they took place. The Saskatchewan stabbing rampage reportedly began early on September 4th at the James Smith Cree Nation north of Saskatoon, home to about 3,400 people, and in Weldon, a nearby village of 200. All told, 10 people were unalived and 18 injured by knife attacks. That's insane. Bro. Imagine if this guy had an AR. That's the real takeaway. Thank goodness it was just a knife. My goodness. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem too good, chat. Seems like one of those bad things. Dang. Here's some of the victims. Suspects. Oh yeah, there's her face right there. Okay, so they just had a bad thing. Yeah, that would have been Las Vegas levels of slaughter. It seemed like he was targeting... Oh, here's Scott Moe.
Yesterday's attacks were horrific beyond anything that any of us could ever imagine. 13 crime scenes, 10 lives tragically ended, and many others wounded. There are no words to adequately describe the pain and loss suffered by the victims' families.
Scott Moe is the premier of Saskatchewan.
By these evil, vicious, senseless attacks, and all of Saskatchewan agrees with you, but we must do more than that. We must turn our attention to what is needed now. First, care and support for the victims and their families. Those who were injured continue to receive the very best possible care in a number of different hospitals. The province's victim services was deployed to the area yesterday. The local school has set up a center for those who need services, and I would encourage anyone to reach out to access those services. Prince Albert Grand Council and the Health Authority will provide social supports now and in the weeks to come. I have spoken with many people who are directly impacted by these horrific attacks, and with the leadership of the RCMP, James Smith Cree Nation, and the FSIN on how the province can support these efforts. Saskatchewan's provincial command has been activated, which helps to coordinate and deploy any resources that we provide. And of course, the two attackers must be caught and they must be brought to justice to protect our residents from further violence. We have supplemented RCMP and local police resources with additional provincial protective services staff from the province and coordinated increased security presence at area hospitals where many victims' families are gathered. And we continue to offer the full support and resources of the province in this investigation. Yesterday and again this morning, Regina Police Chief Evan Bray said he believes there is someone who knows something.
I just love that he's recording this out in a windy wheat field. It's awesome. With the truck in the back.
If that is the case, please contact the police or the RCMP. You'll be preventing
They added 30 minutes just to drive out to the spot.
Further violence. And you will be ensuring that justice is done on behalf of the victims' families. Every moment that these individuals remain at large, innocent people are in danger. So if anyone has any information that can help police end that danger, please provide that information. And I want to thank all of the police services across Saskatchewan and now other provinces that have joined in the search and are doing everything that they can do to apprehend these two very dangerous men. And I want to thank all of the first responders and the healthcare professionals whose heroic efforts have been treating victims in our hospitals across the province. Thank you, Saskatchewan.
Okay, that's what our conservatives sound like. Just like actually just sounds like a normal person. But yeah, holy cow. So we're going to keep a line on this. This is a pretty big story. I cannot believe 28 casualties. That's insane. All right, let's carry on. Actually, I don't know this person at all, but that's my first thought. Yeah. He supports the truckers. Freedom. Gotta support the truckers. Yeah, even I think there was a poll that came out not too long ago that even in Alberta, like they don't have broad popular support at all. It's actually it's just a very vocal minority, essentially. Okay, we got a couple random things that are just popping off. Like, for instance, a bunch of people are rallying in Indonesia and a lot of the cities demanding the government reverse its first subsidized fuel price and increased in 8 years amid soaring inflation. In Canada, also, apparently, the Bank of Canada, we're increasing our inflation rates.
Thousands of people rallied in Indonesia's biggest cities on Tuesday. They demanded that the government reverse its first subsidized fuel price increase in 8 years. The hike comes while the country deals with soaring inflation. Denny Furcon protested in Jakarta.
Clearly, for Indonesian workers, we refuse the fuel price hike decision by the government. Because when the fuel price is higher, all other prices will increase, including electricity, food, and so forth. Meanwhile, our wages do not increase, which is not fair for us. Plus, the current omnibus law keeps us stuck, with no increase in wages.
President Joko Widodo said on Saturday he had little choice but to cut the fuel subsidy and allow prices to rise by about 30%. It comes as the government faces pressure to control a mounting energy subsidy budget. Unions say the prices will hurt workers and the urban poor the most. Demonstrations have been led by students and labour groups who have also called for an increase in the minimum wage. Subsidised fuel is a sensitive issue in Indonesia. The government has aimed to soften the blow through compensation.
Okay, we don't care about that. So yeah, things are popping off in Indonesia. Looks like inflation's hitting people around the world. We got this really interesting video of SpongeBob voice actors remaking a scene in real life. Makes so much more sense, eh? You're like, oh, okay, yeah, I see that. What a goof. What a goof. Clancy Brown is Mr. Crab. I know. I didn't know that. I never actually placed his voice ever. So he's really good. All right, I hate to say it, but I fell off plus L plus I'm white plus ratio. It's like just a couple people watching, so I think I'm gonna end stream a bit early. We'll try again tomorrow, and I'm thinking I'll be able to keep to 9 o'clock every morning, except for the subathon. See if I can get some special guests. I'd love to have him on, or Denims, or I don't know, any suggestions. Maybe try to do like I don't know, like an interview or just shoot the shit. Like, it would be nice to have some people come through and say hi. But yeah, I don't really know what I got going so far. Probably just watching. Probably just watch. Oh, there was also, I think actually we were gonna watch Fuddruckers if possible, because Fuddruckers was something just so diabolically good. And yeah, we don't really care too much about Liz Truss, do we? Yeah, this stuff. This was really good. Might just watch this.
That's a tough.
Comes out.
It's Tim Heidecker memeing on the Joe Rogan format, and it's absolutely awesome. What's the Kurgan? The Kurgan. I'm thinking of SpongeBob. But yeah. Shorter stream today. I got a bunch of stuff to do. I gotta get ready for class anyways. So I'll see you later. You have a good one. You have a lovely day. And I'll be back on tomorrow at 9. Play me out, DJ. Alright, see you later. Have a good one. Be Weird Al. Plugs.